Hello, I'm Maria and welcome back to my nook. Today I'm going to be starting another reading vlog, but one that is going to be different from my usual reading vlogs, because in this reading vlog I'm going to set myself a time limit, sort of, which is something I don't normally do. Normally, I take quite a lot of time to read a book and finish a book. As you've probably seen in my other reading vlogs, it usually takes me a week-ish to read one full-length novel. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. It kind of varies, obviously, depending on the genre, the length of the book, the writing style, etc, etc. But it does take me a bit to finish a book. So I'm just not the type of person that can finish multiple books within a single weekend. And that is exactly why I never really do these weekend reading vlogs, for example, where I just start a vlog on Friday and end the vlog on Sunday, for example, or why I have only ever done a single 24-hour readathon and never done that ever again, because I'm just such a slow reader and it sometimes takes me a lot of effort to continue reading for hours and hours and hours on end. Sometimes I just need to do something else in between. And then there's obviously the matter of me not reading that much within a 24-hour period or a weekend, for example. So sometimes if I would start a weekend reading vlog on a Friday and end the vlog on a Sunday, I would maybe only read like 70 pages in a single book. And I personally always feel like that wouldn't be as interesting. And maybe I'm being a bit overly critical of myself and my own content here, but I just feel like that wouldn't really be fun or interesting to watch. So I'm not doing it usually, but for this vlog, I am going to be reading for a 24-hour period. I'm not going to be setting a timer or reading for 24 hours straight without sleeping or anything, because I definitely cannot do that. Reading for 24 hours with the timer method would probably take me a week too, so it would just be another reading vlog probably. And reading for 24 hours straight without sleeping is it's just unhealthy for me especially, so not gonna do that. But what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be starting this vlog at 10 a.m. today. Today is Sunday, currently 9:30 a.m. And then I'm going to be ending this vlog at 10 a.m. tomorrow on Monday. And in that time period, I'm going to be hopefully reading a lot, so I can talk to you a lot about what I've been reading. And I think in this vlog it's going to be working out because I have a few reading plans that are a bit shorter, so I can at least get to multiple books, hopefully. Because here's the thing, I recently, like 2 days ago, finished The Fragile Threads of Power by Byyee, and that book did so many things to me. It did so many things to me. It was my most anticipated book release of 2023, and I had such high expectations. Was not disappointed at all. I had the best of times with that book. But with that sometimes comes a bit of a book hangover, in the sense that I kind of feel like no book is ever going to live up to the experience I had with The Fragile Threads of Power. And this time I thought I'm not even going to try to find a similar experience in another book, or like I'm not even going to try to expect a similar experience from another book. So I'm just going to pick up books that are so different from The Fragile Threads of Power in genre or length or stakes or whatever, that I'm just not even going to expect them to be as good as The Fragile Threads of Power. So I hopefully won't be disappointed, because that can happen even more easily when you're in a bit of a book hangover and kind of doubting whether any book will ever live up to the reading experience you just had with another book. So, because this intro has already been way too long, without further ado, let's talk about my reading plans. First up, yesterday I already started a manga, and that is the second volume of Spy Family by Tetsuya Endo. I read the first volume recently and I wanted to continue the series but had to wait for my hold at my library to come in. And now I have the second volume borrowed via Libby, and I've also borrowed the third volume. So, as I am already, I think 59% through the second volume of Spy Family, once I have finished that one, I will continue reading the series by reading the third volume as well. And to just give you a quick overview what this manga series is about, it's basically about this spy. His codename is Twilight, and he's currently pretending to be Lloyd Forger. He has recently been assigned this mission to kind of get close to this, I think he's a politician or like part of a big political organization or something. Twilight has to get close to him and like keep an eye on him in order to keep peace between the two countries that the story is set in. And in order to get close to that politician, he has to find a fake wife and a fake child and like build a fake family basically, and then get his fake child enrolled in this incredibly prestige private school, because the second son of that politician is also enrolled in that school. So that's kind of the plan of the mission. And yeah, the second volume is continuing where the first volume left off, and the first half of the second volume has already been so much fun. I'm so incredibly excited to continue this series. And then once I have read those mangas, I have also more reading plans, namely The Tournament at Gorlan by John Flanagan. This is the first book in the Early Years series, which is part of the Ranger's Apprentice universe. And to be honest, I don't really know too much about what's going on in this book. I just know that this is set before the events of the main Ranger's Apprentice series. And I know that this Early Years series, it's a duology by the way, is going to be about the events that a lot of people are talking about in the main Ranger's Apprentice series. So I kind of know what's happened because it's a big deal in the time that the main Ranger's Apprentice series is set in, but I don't really know like all the details, you know what I mean? The whole story has kind of evolved into a bit of a myth in the Ranger's Apprentice series. So I'm definitely curious to see what has actually happened. And I'm definitely excited to dive into this because I hope that it's just going to be a chill time like the Ranger's Apprentice books have mostly been. Speaking of chill time, I've had a bit of a rough day yesterday, at least physical. Basically, every muscle in my body is sore today and hurts. So I really just hope that I can relax and read a lot today, and those are my plans. So yeah, as I already said, this reading vlog is going to be starting at 10 a.m. today, and then I'll be ending it at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll see how much reading I will have gotten done before then, until then. So without further ado, let's get to reading. Good morning, it is the next day and I have a reading update for you. I have read both the second volume and the third volume of Spy Family yesterday, which means I read the second half of Spy Family Volume 2 and I started and finished Spy Family Volume 3. And I enjoyed both of them so much. I already mentioned this, but these mangas just make me laugh and giggle, and I'm having the best of time. I'm gasping and like trying to kind of see the crumbs of possible romance in there. I don't even know if there's ever going to be any romance in this manga. But I am looking for it, let me tell you. And I'm just having a great time with this manga series. It's so wholesome at some moments and then there's action at others. Honestly, some of the things that happen in the series are wild. They're so wild, and you should probably not take this series and what happens in it too seriously. Because I think if you do, you might not enjoy it as much, but if you don't, I think this series is great fun, and I'm honestly so looking forward to continuing the series. I am actually kind of tempted to maybe buy myself copies of this series, like in paperback, because so far I've always borrowed the copies from my library via Libby, and I think I'm going to do that for the next volume too, but maybe I'm gonna buy them for myself someday. I don't know, I'll see. It's just this type of situation where I think that I could really be enjoying reading these mangas in paperback, like physical form. And also, I think I would really love to have them at home, because these are just such easy and quick reads, and they're really so good for when I just finished a book and maybe I'm in a little bit of a book hangover, like I was the last 3 days-ish, or when I just don't really know what to read or whatever. I can just reach for these because I know that they're fun and quick and easy to read, and it's just a good time, you know what I mean? So having them at home would be great because then I could reach for them at any time instead of having to wait for a haul to come in. But I've already bought so many books this year. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see. Also kind of depending on how much I enjoy the next books in the series, but I'm definitely looking forward to them. Lloyd and Yor and Anya are still trying so very hard to be a normal family, and it's so funny and so cute sometimes, and I love how hard they are actually trying. Like, Lloyd is a professional spy, and that's basically all he's known for I don't know how many years. But he's still trying so hard to be a good husband, like a fake husband, but a good husband and a good dad to Anya, and it's just the cutest thing ever. And Yor is trying so hard to be a good mother to Anya. I mean, for Yor, it's a bit different because she actually believes that Anya is Lloyd's actual daughter, you know? So for her it's a bit different, but she's trying so hard and it's so cute and so lovely. And another thing I really love about this series is that we get to see a professional spy who is one of the best spies of his country and his agency, and one of the best assassins in her country, in just casual, mundane situations. Like, I don't know, taking their kid to the bus station or going to the aquarium, or like cooking at home, going grocery shopping, stuff like that. We get to see a professional spy, one of the best, in pajamas. I'm just... I know this might sound a little bit silly, but I honestly don't think that I've ever seen any sort of spy media, like a spy movie or whatever, where the spy was depicted in such casual and mundane situations. And I am honestly loving it. I just love it. I'm really enjoying it. But anyway, I've been babbling about these books for long enough now. Let's talk about my reading plans for today, because there's still a little bit of time left before 10 a.m. I want to start reading The Tournament at Gorlan by John Flanagan today. I've already mentioned that I don't really know what's gonna happen in this book, except the things that are talked about in the Ranger's Apprentice series, because these events happened before the Ranger's Apprentice series, and the events in this series have become, I think in the first clip I said they've become some sort of myth, but that maybe wasn't the right word. They've become more of a legend, because it's been quite a long while since they happened, and they did happen, but they've evolved into a kind of legend, I think, and probably some of the details have become a little exaggerated, that type of situation. So I don't really know what's going to happen in these books. I just know how these events are being talked about in the later time, that sort of situation. Anyway, I'm definitely excited for this book though, because I hope it's going to be a chill and relaxed time as well, and maybe a quick read too. I'll see. I'm definitely excited for this one, and I'm gonna jump into it for the rest of this reading vlog time now. night. It has been a couple of hours. It's a little past 10 actually, because I read a little longer than the time frame I had set for myself, just because I was feeling it a little, you know. Let's get to a final reading update in the tournament at Gorlan. I have finished chapter 3. I'm on page 23, which means that I have read 25 pages in this book, because there was a 2-page forward thingy at the beginning of the book. I'm obviously counting that as well because I read it, you know. So far, we found out, oh my gosh, the foreword gave such juicy background information that I was not aware of. But I'm obviously not going to share it because I don't even know if every edition of this book has that foreword. It's just, it took me so by surprise and I nearly fell off my chair because I was like, what? Like, whoa. I did not expect that piece of information at all. And I have to try and figure out how to deal with that. It's not that dramatic, but it's kind of a big deal actually. It should be in this world. I'll see. I'll see how it's gonna be treated in this book. And also this piece of information makes me rethink all the Ranger's Apprentice books that I have read already. Not in a bad way, but like in an interesting kind of way. I don't know how to vaguely describe this. Holt and Crowley. Crowley is one of the rangers and Holt is not a ranger yet at this point, I believe. And now Crowley and Holt are both sort of on the run, and Holt joined Crowley. They're on the run. I got quite a bit of information from the foreword, but I don't think I should be sharing that because of spoilers. So they're trying not to be discovered or recognized, that type of situation. Basically, that's where I'm at. Not too much has happened yet, just a ground base of like, this is where we're at, this is what the characters are dealing with, you know, that type of situation. So I am definitely intrigued to read more in this book, but for now I am going to be giving you a bit of a wrap up for this vlog, because I have finished the second half of Spy Family Volume 2 by Tatsuya Endo, and then B, I have started and finished Volume 3 of Spy Family, also by Tatsuya Endo, obviously. And then I've also started reading The Tournament at Gorlan by John Flanagan. And all the books I have enjoyed. Like, I've enjoyed the 2 Spy Family volumes, and I am enjoying the Ranger's Apprentice book so far. I am going to tell you now how many pages I have read. I got a little note sitting right here. I already mentioned it, I read 25 pages in the Ranger's Apprentice book, and then I read 54 pages in the second volume of Spy Family. I know that doesn't sound quite as much as the volume has actual pages. That's because I usually divide the manga pages by 2, because I feel like that would be more accurate to how much I read, because like there's not that much to actually read on a manga page, but I'm still reading, so I still want to count the pages, but I don't want to count 200 pages for a manga book. I don't know if this makes any sense. I just divide it by 2. I don't know. It feels better for me, I guess. And then I also take off pages like, for example, the title pages where there's nothing to read. Stuff like that, you know? Which that, by the way, is something I do for every book. Anyway, 54 pages in the Spy Family Volume 2. and then 92 pages in the third volume of Spy Family, which adds up to 171 pages within 24 hours, which is honestly so much. I don't think I've read that much in quite a while within like a 24-hour span, you know? So I think I had a pretty good reading journey this past day, especially because I had a good time. Like, let's just put away all these page counts. I had a good time. I enjoyed my time reading, and that is really what matters most. So I'm just happy with the reading I did in this vlog, and I really hope you have enjoyed this vlog as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe let me know down in the comments if you have read any of the books that I have read in this vlog, or if you don't want to tell me that, you can tell me anything else. And other than that, I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet or in my next video. Bye!